Hello everybody, welcome back. In this video we are going to explore the main interface of Blender. For the first time, when you will open the Blender, you will find this type of interface, but you will also see a introduction window. You can skip that window if you want to do so. And now this is our Blender interface. So let's see what is this. And on the top you can see the title, and then we have a menu bar. In menu bar you can see that we have this icon, and after that we have a file. If we click on file, you will find a new open recent projects. If we have any, we have we can recover the last sessions, and we have save option. Also we have import options, and we have some formats. We have export option as well, and some things related to external data, cleanup, etc. We have edit menu. In edit menu, most important thing is this preferences menu, and if we click on this preferences menu, we have this tab. In this tab we have a interface default settings. If you can see, we can change the resolution scale. If you can see, if we increase this, you can see the overall size is increasing, so you can keep it wherever you want. Okay, after that we have a line width. You can change this as well. We have splash screen, which I just have disabled it. If you will enable it, every time when you will open the Blender, you will find a splash screen in front, and you can click on close to close that. Also we have some other options for the editors, and we have options for translation as well. We have a text rendering options, and we have a menus option as well. So these are the default settings which you can manipulate as per your need. Then we have a theme option, in which we have some presets. You can see that we have selected a dark theme. Maybe we have Blender light as well. If we select Blender light, you can see this type of interface. If we select Blender dark, you will find this type of interface. We have some other presets as well. So if we select, for example, mode, you can see this type of interface with these colors. So it's up to you that what colors you need. You can create your own interface. So we have option of creating custom interface as well. So for example, if you want to create your own colors and theming, you can click on this plus sign, and you can create another theme here, and then you can just explore these sections. So for example, user interface, and then regular, and then you can find the colors, etc., and you can manipulate these colors by click here, and you can change these colors as well. So you can actually design your own theme if you want to do so, but we usually users are comfortable with Blender default themes, and most of the people use this dark black theme, which is very comfortable to use. If you go to Viewport, you will find some settings for the Viewport section, and Viewport is actually this Viewport, and we have this gizmos option. You can see this is the gizmo, and I will explain it what is this. We also have a quality, texture, and selection options. In light section, we have some options for the lights. We have matte caps. We can install some other extra matte caps as well, and I will show you what is the matte cap in this section. We have HDRIs options. We can actually install some extra HDRIs if we want to do so, and studio lights, we can install some studio lights as well if we want to do so. We will not go in this detail. In editing, we will have some other options where you can change these options with a grease pencil, miscellaneous weight paint, etc. These things you will learn definitely during the Blender, and then you can imagine that Blender has a lot of possibilities to change these settings. This tab is for animations, where we can change the timeline animation settings, keyframe settings, F curves, and we will learn about animations as well in this in this course, so we'll leave it for later on. After that we have an add-ons section where we have a lot of add-ons related to Blender. Usually Blender has a lot of possibilities, but usually most of the add-ons are disabled. If we select the add-ons, for example, you can see initially you will not see this mesh loop tools add-on, and also object bool tool. These will be disabled initially, and we have to enable these tools if we want to do so, and then we would use that add-ons for specific needs. Similarly, we have this arc mesh type of tool, so I will just disable it like this, and it will just increase the performance of our Blender. So as much as add-ons you will use in your Blender, it will definitely decrease the overall performance of the Blender. Add-ons, you can install these add-ons, and you can also get some external add-ons, and you can install that add-ons also in the Blender. After that we have input settings, where you can see we have certain settings for the mouse, we have settings for the keyboard as well, and we have also the option of navigation. We can where you can have some option of orbit method, trackball, turntable, and we have some other sensitivity, orbit sensitivity, etc. And the default options are usually absolutely fine, so it's very important to keep the default options in active. And after that we have a Keymap. It is very important. If you are comfortable with the left selection, you can choose this, otherwise you can select the right selection of the mouse. So if we select an object, we can select it with right click or left click, it's up to you. So we can select this action. Also we have a space bar action. With space bar we can play animation, tools, we can open the tools, or we can open the search bar. So I have selected the search bar, so it's very important. So you can select it the search here as well. After that we have also some options which you can manipulate, and you will find some other options for the window and lot of key mapping here, and you can change these keys according to your own desires. Okay, so it's up to you. After that we have a system section where you can see we have a undo steps. So if we try to undo something, if we move back to the some section of our modeling, that steps are limited to 32. You can increase these steps or you can decrease these steps if you want to do so. After we have some other options related to video sequences, and here we have a memory cache limit, so it's around 4 GB, and also you can use disk cache to speed up the performance as well, but we will not keep it, we will not enable it right now. We also have some other options, OpenGL, OptiX, and these are related to the renders options, actually related to some render devices. After that we have a save and load option where you can see some auto save options, and you have a timer minutes. After 2 minutes it will save your file automatically, and we will have a nice backup. And we have some other options as well. You can manipulate with these options as well. And then we have a Filepass where you can define your fonts path if you have any. If you want to keep some texture path, the default path for the texture, you can do so. If you have script paths, we can use the Python scripts in our software. If you have some sounds, you can add a folder for the sounds as well. We are not adding these folders right now. Later on we can do so. So it's up to you that you want to do or not. So this is the preferences menu, which is very important, and in this menu we have only changed the main settings related to space. So if we press space, it's a very nice key, and we can search anything in Blender. If we just forget that thing from the UI. If we don't know what is the shortcut key for that specific action, then we can press space and we can search that action, and then we can just select that action right away. So after that menu, we have a render menu which is related to rendering. We will learn this later on. We have also the Windows option where we have some workspace options. We have a help option where we can explore the manual, tutorial, support sections of the Blender. And after that we have these menus, and these are actually the layouts. You can see this is the default layout. If we go to modeling section, you can see our layout is little bit changed, and we are actually in edit mode now, and you can see the tools here. You can see these tools are changed. So if we go to layout, you can see these tools are limited. In modeling we have a lot of tools here to the left side. If you go to sculpting, you will find a lot of tools here for this sculpting part. If you go to UV editing, you can see this section here for the UV editing, which is for texturing. If we go to texture paint, you can see the limited tools here, and we are in texture paint layout. If we go to shading, we can add some textures, and we can get some result in shading view. If we go to animation, this is the animation view where we can see the result, and we have a animation tab here, and we can create our animations easily. If we go to rendering, this is the rendering tab. If we go to compositing, this is the compositing tab. If we go to geometry, on this workspace, you can see this type of workspace, and we can create some nodes and we can get some results. So these are the different layouts and different windows. Usually we will keep ourselves in layout mode, and with time we will just change the arm modes as well. So this is the main menu. After that you can see we have this tab. If we click here, you can see we have a scene, and we don't have much scenes here, so we can see this. And after that we have this this section. If you can see this section, so this is actually the selection tool, and these are some more tools for the extending the existing selection. And if we hover on any tool, you can see subtract existing selection, and these are related to actually bool tools, where we have enabled the bool add-on. Okay, so for with that add-on we found these options. So if we have two objects, we can delete some objects from one another, we can join the objects like this. We have these tools. After that we have this window where we have the gizmos, and we can set our gizmos to the global, to the local level, to the normal gizmos level, view and cursor, and we will learn this later on, so you will understand this thing. Also we have these settings. We will not explain it right now. When we will work on some objects, then you will learn that what these options for. Okay, after that we have this mode where you can see object mode. We have certain modes here, so these modes are related to these windows actually. Okay, so if we go to modeling, you can see the same result. If we go to edit mode, you can see the same result here. Okay, similarly if you go to sculpt mode, you can find the same sculpting window. Although we are in layout mode, but we will find the all tools related to sculpting section. We can go to vertex point mode, we can go to widget paint and weight paint mode, and we will go to texture paint mode right away. So these are some options, and the object mode is the default option. After that we can select add or object, etc. If we click on add, you will find a lot of objects here. If you click on objects, you will find a lot of tools here related to transforms and some mirror option, etc. And if you click on select, you can find some tools here as well. If you go to view, you will find some options related to the view as well. After that, on the left side we have the main tools. So as you know that if we change this mode to edit mode, these tools will be increased. So these are the tools related to the some properties. So if we select this tool and if we select this object, you can see we have move tool. If we move it, we can move it to y-axis, x-axis, z-axis, like this. Okay, and similarly if we select this tool, we can rotate it like this. Okay, and if we select this scale tool, we can scale it like this, y-axis, z-axis, x-axis, like this. If we select this one, we can perform every action. We can scale it, we can rotate it, we can scale it, rotate it, we can move it. So we can do everything with this tool. Okay, so usually in a Blender we don't use these tools again and again, and usually the shortcut keys are very important, and we will use the shortcut keys for these actions. So we also have this section where you will find a lot of options related to armature, mesh, curve. We will learn this later on as per our specific sections. Also we have these settings like face orientation, motion tracking. If we go to this section, you will find a lot of options here as well related to navigate, active tools, etc. You can enable or disable these tools. If we disable it, you can see that we just lose our navigation, etc. And if we select this tool and if we enable it, you will find these options. So this is actually the gizmo. So what is the gizmo? We have x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. If we select this gizmo, we can rotate our overview like this. We can orbit our overview. Okay, and this is for zoom. We can click here and drag out, drag in to zoom in. We can pan the interface like this. We can click here and it will show us the camera view. Okay, so in the camera you can see that this section will be rendered. If we render this scene, this section will be rendered only. Okay, and then we have this view, which is actually the orthographic mode, and if we click on this, we are in perspective view. Okay, you can see user perspective. If we click here, you can see user orthographic. So we have two main views. We have orthographic and perspective. So perspective view is very essential, and we will usually work in perspective view. After that, we have these tools, and these are related to the options of toggle X-ray. So if we have multiple objects, for example, if we have, for example, shift D for duplicate, I will just duplicate it here. And if we have these two objects and we want to see this back object as well, then what we can do, we can enable the X-ray, and now you can see we can see that this back objects as well in X-ray mode. Okay, we also have a wireframe mode. If we click on this option, you can see we can see the vertices here, and we can see the overall polygons and vertices like this. If we select the shaded view, this is the default view, and if we click on this, this is the material view. If we have any material on our objects or texture on our object, we will see that texture. After that, we have a render view, and we can see that how our the last render will look like. Okay, so we will definitely discuss these things as well in later videos. In the right side, whatever we will create object in our scene, we can see this in this area. You can see the camera, cube 01, light, and these are organized in a collection. Collection is usually a group of some objects. We can create new collections as well. So if we create a new collection, you can see that this is another collection is added here inside. I will just delete it. If you want to create a new collection here outside, we can create a new collection here. We can rename this character collection, and we can name it. For example, we are creating a character, we can name it character, and then we can create objects inside this collection as well. So in this way we can create multiple collections, and we can delete the collections, and we can organize our objects inside certain collections. After that we have this property window, and if we select this cube, you will see the properties related to cube, and that is because we are on this tab. Okay, this property window also have these subsections. From the top, if we select this section, you can see that this is the specific this is the tool which we have selected here, and these properties belongs to this tool. Okay, so if we select rotate tool, you will see here we have settings for the rotate tool. If we select scale tool, if we select this one, we have some other options. If we, for example, go to edit mode, here we will select, you can see some options related to the first tool here. Okay, select tool. So it's whatever tool we have selected here, it will give us the properties, the main basic properties here. Okay, after that we have this render option, where we have two type of main rendering: EV, workbench, and cycle. Three type of main rendering engines. So EV rendering engines is just like the game engines rendering. Okay, so what it will do, that in real time, if we enable it, you can see in real time we are rendering our objects, and not too much load is implemented on these objects. If we go to select cycle rendering, and now you can see that our objects is rendering, but it will take time. Although you can see that we don't have any much more details, or we don't have any textures on these objects, and then even we have some time, we should need some time to render these objects. So cycle rendering is a little bit heavy, but it's quality one. And we also have the workbench rendering, which will render our objects in real time, just like in shaded view. Okay, so this is also a better render option. But EV rendering is usually, we will select the EV rendering, which is which will not impact the overall performance of Blender, and it is also it will give us the better result. Here, after the rendering, we will definitely in details we will learn these settings in specific sections, so I will not explore these things. After that, we have this option of dimensions, where we have select an object, and these settings are related to that. Sorry, not these dimensions are actually related to the render properties. Okay, so we have dimensions of rendering our video or render result with these settings: 1920 into 1080 pixels, which is HD resolution, and we have also some options for the frame rates as well. Also we will have options for some other things, and we also have a post-processing settings if we want to enable it as well, to get some outputs. And here in output we can set our folder for the output, where our renders will be outputted. After that, we also have some options here. If we click here, you can see some options here related to the different type of videos: HD, TV, we have 4K, UV, and we have for example TV PAL, aspect ratio of 4:3. We have a lot of options here if you want to select that options. After that, we have this window which is related to the layers, properties, etc., and we will definitely learn this later on. After that, we have this option related to the scene settings, where we can add a gravity to the scene. We can also change the background color, etc. And after that, we have this option of world view. So this world view is belongs to this world actually. You can see the background and the overall world, so we can add some color for this world. For example, if we change this color, I will just select this color, and I will just copy this color initially, so that we can just keep it like this. And if we change this color, for example, you can see the color of the word is changed now. Okay, so in this way we can just choose our colors if we want. We can also add HDRI maps and some skyboxes, etc., for the better result. We will learn that in specific sections. We also have a option of this master collection, and we'll also learn that what is the master collection and how it will used. After that, we have this option of the transform, which will related to the transform option of the cube. You can see the scale of the cube, rotation of the cube, location of the cube, and we can manipulate these settings. Also, we have this tab of modifiers. We will find a lot of modifiers here, like we can mirror the object, we can bevel the object, we can create a booleans, we can create some subdivision surface, we can apply the solidifier, skin modifier, screw modifier. We have a lot of options which we will learn later on in modifiers section tab. After that, we have some option for the particles, etc. Here you can see we can create a new particle system, and in this particle system we have a lot of options. We can create some particles as well. We have some options for the some forces, like we have simulations of class simulation, collisions. We can add the force fields to some objects. We also have the fluid impact, rigid body, and some other options of the physics, so we can add that as well here. We also have this option of constraints, where we can have some constraints as well, and we can add the armature to our character. We can add some other constraints for the animations section. We have this option of vertices group, and we will learn this later on, and we can also generate the UV maps, etc., and this is very useful tool for the texturing. After that, we have the material tab, where we can add some materials, and we have a lot of settings related to these materials right away here. Okay, and that's the last thing. We have textures, texture painting option, where we have some options related to texture paint, and if we click here, you can see we have a texture. We can add a new image here, and lot of things related to texture painting. That is the overall overview of the Blender UI. And one more thing is this animation window, where you will find the play, record button, and forward and back buttons. Also, you will have these keyframes section where we can create our animations as well. That's it. This is the main overview of our Blender. In next video, we will learn about the hotkeys which we are using in Blender again and again.